What if the universe has a real edge? But it isn't a wall you can crash into. It's a place where physics quietly runs out of relays? In the energy filament theory, the cosmic boundary is not a mirror or a hard shell. It is a forced desert, a region where you can still draw the gravity landscape and the electromagnetic texture, yet they can no longer push, pull, or carry information far. The universe in this picture is not infinite and not a perfect sphere. It is an irregular three-dimensional lump of finite energy C. And when you slice that C by tension windows, you naturally get zones, a habitable belt, a non-habitable belt, a boundary transition belt, and finally the boundary itself. We explained what these zones meant in the last episode. Here we focus on why a boundary exists at all. The mechanism is simple: relay chain failure. Light is not a bullet crossing emptiness. It is a beat handed forward by the energy C, patched by patches. Every disturbance is the same kind of handoff, so the boundary is where the handoff becomes unreliable. You can picture it like sound. In normal air, molecules pass a vibration along and sound travels. But if the air gets thin enough, the molecular chain can't keep passing the vibration, and sound doesn't bounce off an invisible wall. It fades because the relay collapses. The energy C does the same. When tension drops below a threshold, the C's handoff speed becomes too weak to keep the next patch in sync. Propagation starts to stutter. Long-range forces and information effectively end, not with reflection, but with dissipation. This is why the boundary feels so different from a cartoon edge. Gravity is a slope in the tension landscape, and electromagnetism is a slope written in texture. But being forced is not just having a slope on paper. It requires that the medium can actually transmit the response along a path. Near the boundary, the slope can still be drawn, yet the road is broken. You can sketch the hills, but objects won't slide the same way because the relay that carries acceleration and communication is failing. Waves do not hit a wall and bounce, they lose coherence and wash out. Now the next question. Why is there a boundary transition belt inside the boundary? Because particles also need the C to stay alive. A ring structure is not stable just because it closes. It needs circulation and self-consistent timing to distribute disturbances and lock the pattern. If the C becomes too loose, the local rhythm becomes too fast and too slippery to self-match. The ring cannot keep its phase closed. It deconstructs and spills back into the C. This is the second extreme that mirrors the black hole interior. Inside a black hole core, the C is too tight and rhythms become too slow to hold ordinary structures. Near the boundary, the C is too loose and rhythms become too fast to hold ordinary structures. Different extremes, same outcome: stable particles fail. That's why the transition belt behaves like a crushing zone. It struggles to form long-lived particles locally, and any imported structure tends to unravel with time. Stars become scarce, matter becomes thin, and the farther outward you go, the more the universe looks like a place where structures simply cannot stay stitched together. One more point matters, because it changes the entire cosmic story. The boundary is not a fixed radius. As structures form over cosmic time, more tension is locked into stable hierarchies, and the C's average state relaxes. In this picture, that means the boundary and the transition belt can drift inward slowly. The responsive universe becomes narrower, not because space collapses, but because the region where the relay works well enough to carry forces and building structure becomes smaller. This universe is not a static geometric sheet. It is a finite energy body with a changing C state and a moving threshold. And yes, people will ask the forbidden question: what is outside the boundaries? The first honest answer is that whatever it is, the relay chain is broken, so it is causally isolated. No reliable exchange of influence or information is possible across that threshold. If we allow one restrained speculation, it could be that far beyond there are other energy lumps with different boundary conditions and different histories. But they are not part of our causal universe. Next episode we make this observational. If the boundary is a forced desert rather than a wall, what fingerprints should appear in the sky as you approach it? And how could we test relay failure without ever visiting the edge? Tap follow, share it on New Physics, Clear Universe.